Hey guys, welcome to the movement. Really excited tonight. You guys are really going to be blessed with getting to hear from all the ladies that are the shepherd's wives. Guys, we're pumped about this, and one of the reasons that we're really pumped about this is because we've received feedback from, to be honest with you, a lot of ladies out there, and we never intended to target women with what we're doing, but ultimately women benefit from what we're doing, and we truly believe that they will continue to benefit. So, to be true to our word, we definitely want to entertain any questions that come from anybody that follows us, regardless. But what's really cool is we've got some really good questions from people that have reached out to us, females specifically, asking questions about what it's like to live with a shepherd, and a lot of different questions that our wives will address through this episode. And all of us are really excited about it because ultimately there is, you may see a strong man out front, but when you see a strong man, it's only because he has a strong woman behind him holding him up. And we're no stranger to that. We're not naive to that. And if you are a man out there in search of a woman, or you have a woman, ultimately your wife can make or break you. So, ultimately we want to maybe say a few words about our wives, guys. We're all sitting around the table right now. We're gonna say a couple words about our wives, introduce them, and then we're gonna get out of the way. To be honest with you, we want them to speak their minds. We want them to speak from their hearts. So I'll go ahead and start out. My wife, Dina. If you don't know my wife is a pretty ferocious individual, which is great because it works really well with me. We're both very A-type personalities, but I've said it before in previous podcasts. This isn't anything new. The reason that I am the man that I am today is because she will never settle for me to be anything less. And I love her more than she'll ever know because of that. But she has very high expectations, and it's one of those things. It's a challenge to live up to. It's like having a great coach. You can't make them happy all the time, but you get better every single day. I love her. She's one of the greatest moms I've ever met. I've probably got 3 other guys sitting at the table that would probably disagree with me about her being the greatest mom, but that's good. You should. She's unbelievable mom, unbelievably strong, just a woman that has really had nothing given to her and has earned everything that she has. So I'm really excited about her being able to speak her mind a little bit about what we're talking about, some of the questions that we have, because I think there's a lot of ladies, and to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of guys that could benefit from her perspective. So, that's kind of Dina in a nutshell. Wilson, go ahead.
My wife, Ashley, dude, we've been married for a while, and we've been through some major stuff, and we got married young, relatively young. I know of other people that married younger, but we have grown so much, and in just the last 3-4 years, our relationship has gotten even better, which is cool. And we're still working on it. We're not perfect, but she completes me 100%. She is my soulmate through and through. I love her to death. I would do anything for her. It's a privilege. If you don't know her, and if you were to enter her friendship circle, you would definitely benefit from that relationship. If you get on her bad side, you are on her bad side for probably ever. So don't do that. You only get about 2 chances, maybe 1 at most. But she is a strong individual. She's very well-grounded. She's spiritual. She's a woman of God, woman of strength. She's been and endured so much stuff because of me, but also because of other things. And I would never wish those things on other women, but she has endured. She has pushed through, and she's become such a better person since then, and she continues to grow every single day. And that's what I love about her the most, is she's always looking and always wanting to pursue and become better, which is pretty cool. Now, she puts up with me, and that's enough in itself. So I just thank her for just doing that. Yeah. So the tennis ball, it's real. She throws it every so often. No, I'm just kidding. But no, she is definitely an amazing person. So hope people out there who follow us reach out to her, man, and learn more about her. She'll definitely blow your mind.
Hey, guys. My wife, her name is Candy. If you know my wife, you know that she doesn't pull any punches. She's incredibly disciplined. She is not only a strong woman, but a woman of strength. Character, I don't feel like that's a good enough word even to describe her, but she is a woman of character. To deal with me on a daily basis, I think it definitely takes a strong woman, a stubborn one at that, because I'm incredibly stubborn. But we started very young. We met each other. She was 17, I was 19. We started a family very, very young. We've grown up together. I would say we tried to be adults earlier than we probably should have, but we did. We grew. We're continuing to grow together. So there's a lot of experiences that I think you guys could learn from Candy, and a lot of really life lessons you guys could probably pull from her too. From a mindset perspective, the girl's a beast. I mean, there's not many things that that she will allow you to see bother her. I think if you're on her good side, she's an incredible friend. You'll never find a more loyal person in your entire life. But if you're not on her good side, you'll know it. She's very upfront, and we're very similar in that regard. That if you're in our circle, you're in for life. But if you're not, similar to how you and Ashley are, when you've betrayed us, like it's you're done. And I think there's something to be said for that. Because you got to earn that loyalty, and I think it's just neat, man. But as far as Candy is concerned, I'm really pumped for you guys to hear from her tonight, because as far as a work ethic, from a mom's perspective, I mean, my mom's pretty legit, okay? But when it comes to a mom, like I think Candy comes in a very close second to even my mom, and it's probably 0.01% difference. My children, my daughter, my son are extremely blessed to not only have her example of work ethic and character, but to have her as a mom in general, as a mother in general. So,
well, this is Cam, and now I get to talk about my beautiful wife, Tanya. And I will say this kind of sucks going last because y'all said a lot of awesome things that also apply to my wife, but I'm not going to go down, and I'm not going to go down that easy. Our story is a little different. I did not meet Tanya until I was 33. I'd never been married. Never been engaged, nothing like that. So for anybody out there and I'm talking to the dudes right now, I was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, you're kind of getting to an age where like you want to be married, but you're kind of like, is that going to happen? And it went from that to literally met, and then 3 months later we were married. And it's been an amazing ride. It has had ups and downs like any other marriage does. But one thing I can say about my wife is she is just as committed as I am to the things that she believes in. And we've always been committed to each other. And I know that 100%. I never doubt that. She is a fireball. If you've been around her for 30 seconds, you're like, never met anybody like that before. If you stay around another 30 seconds, you'll be like, never met anybody like that before either. Same person. But she's an incredible mom. I got a package deal when I got married. It was amazing. The Lord blessed me with not only a beautiful wife, but a brand new son right off the bat with a 7-year-old stepson. We've got 2 more boys since then. And it is a party at our house nonstop, and she handles it like you wouldn't believe. She's like the coolest mom. Like literally, we have our oldest now is 14, and he believes that his mom is cool and awesome, and he knows that. And so do our little guys. She's fierce. She's a warrior. She is stubborn as hell, and all those things that you think that might kind of rub you the wrong way sometimes. But then you sit back and you go like, man, I'm glad she's mine. It's just an awesome, awesome ride, our marriage is. And I will tell you, one of the most impressive things is I met her at church, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I met her at church, and I married her 3 months later, and then I realized she could drink whiskey like a dude. So I'm like, I got the best of both spectrums. It's true, babe. And she's sitting here looking at me, and she's like, I can't believe you told people that. Just wait till you hear from her. So she's incredible. All these ladies are incredible. And we are so excited because of the outpouring of requests to hear a woman's perspective. We believe there are not 4 more qualified people on earth to give a woman's perspective. And we're going to completely turn the rest of this time over this episode to them. And you are blessed for it. And we're excited for it.
Hey guys, so this is Dina and Tanya and Ashley and Candy, and the guys kind of introduced us, so we're just going to kind of keep it real, and we're not professional podcasters by any means, so I just want to clear the air. This is not going to be as clean and crisp as the guys, so don't judge us. But I just want to say hey and give y'all a little bit of our background. So I currently have 3 kiddos, all boys. I'm a total boy mom, and I love it. It's fun. I've been married to Josh for going on 6 years this year. So we've been together for a long time, since high school. So we've kind of just learned and grown together, and I don't know. It's been fun, but I work currently, so I'm a working mom and a fellow entrepreneur. Josh and I have, kind of dabbled in this and that, and have big dreams and goals and things like that. So if you guys relate, great. But I guess that's all about me. You go, Ashley.
Okay, so for me, currently I'm a stay-at-home mom. Me and Chris have one little boy. We are working on more, and during that process, we are having to have fertility treatments with that, not to the extreme of IVF, but we have to. I am currently taking Clomid, so excuse the hormones if I ever have any. Any of you who have had to take that, you understand. But I used to work for a little bit until me and Chris had our son, and I worked for about 2 years, and then we moved. And whenever we decided to move, it was basically just, hey, you're going to stay at home. This is what you're going to do. And so that's kind of where I'm at in life right now, is the stay-at-home mom life. Candy?
Hey, you guys. I'm Candy, Chris's wife, as he mentioned earlier. I'm kind of in a position of the working mom aspect. We have 2 little people. One that's like over halfway to adult age, which blows my mind, but she's the absolute coolest, and keeps me in check. So, we're in a Chris works, I work, have full time with the kids the whole time. 'Cause if you ever talk to him, he'll tell you I don't know how to take a day off. It's just kind of in the blood, but it's something that I enjoy and always have. So we just incorporate that into our lifestyle. Chris and I have been together for over a decade, and we've been married for going on 8 years now. And we've definitely grown up together, changed as people, and he probably thinks that he's been with multiple women at this point, because if it's not the hair color, it could be, a personality change. And it's not necessarily in a bad way, but it's, you strive to be a better person every day, and that growth has changed and gone up immensely over the past decade. So pretty pumped about that, and it only gets better from there. And I mean, other than that, like work and home and kids and husband, and we find things to do together. I'm not an adventure seeker, so hanging out at home or just being on the down low, I'm okay with. But I am very go with the flow. So you bring that to the table if you want to go do this or that. I haven't jumped out of a plane yet. My husband has, if you guys saw that, which is awesome. And I'm happy to do it. But I told him we couldn't do it at the same time just in case we die. Our kids do need parents, at least smart. One. So, yeah, just go with it. Take it day by day and, focus on the good stuff. So that's where we're at. And now I give you Tanya.
It's so I'm Tanya, but it's so funny you say that about the dying thing, because Cameron refuses to do like the hang glide thing, like off the mountain. Have you ever seen that where you hang glide?
Yeah.
He will not do that with me, because he's like, if one of us dies, he's going to take the risk. And I'm
Exactly.
Like, that's so
rude
logical that you even think like that.
Yes.
Can't we just think on the positive? Like, isn't that what life's all about? Is thinking on the positive? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, for the personalities, like, women, we're just crazy. Like, they're just going to have to deal with their personalities. That's just the way it's going to be.
Right.
But I am Tanya, Cameron's wife. I think he told you I'm crazy. It's true. It's very true.
Not crazy.
But he did say that we did date for 3 months, and we got married after 3 months. I told him, don't threaten me with a good time, when he was joking about it.
And he put a ring on it.
It's so true. And I tell my friends that, like, I had to get him to marry me really quick before he realized how crazy I was, because he was pretty stable in his life at that time. So, like he told you, he got along a 6-year-old in the package. So now, years later, we have 3 boys. And whenever we met, I was a working mom. I was a hustler in the lending industry. Kind of climbed the corporate ladder with that. And so I've been single working mom to now I stay at home with all 3 of the kiddos. We've got 3 boys, like he mentioned, And I think my job now as a stay-at-home mom is like, now that you have 3 too, Dina, it's like my job is to clean up piss all day. Like, that's what I do. I have 3 little boys and then I have a man. So we got 4 guys in the house and I clean up piss all day long. That's what I do. No, just kidding. I do like to clean up no, I don't like to clean up the piss, but I do enjoy having 3 boys at home. Life is so crazy, but it's so fun. It really is. And I just started a new adventure. I guess technically I'm a stay-at-home mom, but now I do like this little fitness thing back in Chattanooga. I just started instructing with all the moms, and so I get to encourage moms all day and help keep them healthy and their minds right. So that's been a cool little adjustment the last couple of months is my role with moms. So I get that, and I get to stay at home, and yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Hey, you're a little bit into everything, I think. So we just had some questions from some of the guys' listeners, and like they said, shockingly, they've had a lot of ladies reach out, and we love it because we know how strong our men are, and it makes us, strong, and it creates that pull for us. I know there's never a day in my house that my husband is not stretching me. And it's annoying as shit. I am not going to lie. Sometimes I just want to lay in my bed in my ugly house robe with my hair up in an ugly ponytail and look frumpy all day, but it's not an option.
Amen to that.
We're just glad that, we got some ladies reaching out because, it takes 2. And we're just so, proud of our men for what they do and what they've done and what they're, continuing to do. They're big dreamers. And if you live with a dreamer, it's hard. It's, it's fun and it's challenging, but it can be very hard. My husband is like a workout warrior. So like all the
Thankfully.
time on 100% on, like he wants to work out in his sleep, I swear. And I'm just like, dude, we don't need to work out.
Hey,
now.
he stretches my husband, so that's all right.
Like, can we not just be off, have an off day or whatever? But anyway, so yeah, we want to just answer some of the questions from our lady listeners, and I think, it's good to have the ladies' perspective on things as well. So anything that y'all have on your hearts and stuff, like, we just want to throw that out there and let y'all know that, it's not easy. Like, and nobody expects, you to be a perfect mom or a perfect wife or, do it all, do all the things perfect. But one of the questions was, how do you balance life, I guess? And I think that's balance being a mom. How do you balance being a wife? How do you balance, just staying true to who you were before you became a mom and a wife? Because I know that's hard to do. I mean, your role is to take care of kids, and it's like suicide watch constantly. Like, these little suckers are trying to kill themselves, I swear. And that takes some strength. It really does. And how do you just balance everything? And from my perspective, we can just kind of throw our own perspectives out there, but I'm kind of like, I don't balance things very well. Like, I'm all or nothing. So I'm all mom one day and I'm all, employee or entrepreneur the next day. Like, I don't do 100% great, balancing. I'll just be completely honest and transparent. But somehow we find a good mixture that gets us by, day to day. I may have to feed my kids some chicken nuggets from McDonald's one day because I'm not 100% mom that day. But I killed it at work. I mean, I sent some awesome, emails and kept all my customers happy and my boss is happy. But my kids are a freaking wreck right now and they gonna eat some chicken nuggets tonight. So I just think you got to find balance for you. And whether that's being a awesome mom Monday and an awesome, wife Tuesday, like, just do you, girl, and don't apologize for it. But that's kind of my perspective on the balance thing.
I agree with that. For me, I don't feel like I have everything balanced, and I mean, I stay at home, but even when you stay at home, you still don't feel like you fully have everything together because you have the social media aspect of things where you compare yourself to all these other moms that are out there. And honestly, it's just not I don't feel like it's the right thing to do, because a lot of times all people ever really want you to see on their social media is their highlight reel. And so you don't really know what's going on behind closed doors or what they're struggling with, or if they do take time for themselves. And so the whole balance thing, it's like Dina said, you do what works for you, what works with your family. I mean, we just have one little boy right now. And so it's a little bit easy because he's about to be 5, which completely blows my mind. To me, he should still be, a little toddler and whatever, but he's about to be 5 and going to school. And so I have a little bit more leniency on what I can do for myself until we have more. So the whole balance thing, you just figure out what works for you, I think, because I don't know, you figure out what you need to do as a wife and what you need to do as a mom. And I mean, I just have the one, so it's a little bit easier for me. So but you have your days to where you don't feel like doing anything and you feed your kids chicken nuggets because you're like, I don't really care to cook and this is what you're going to get. So, you just kind of go with the flow kind of thing. And
be flexible.
Yeah,
sure.
you definitely have to be flexible being a mom. And not that this all pertains to being a mom, because I remember what it was like prior to me and Chris having kids, and it was like we could do whatever we wanted whenever we wanted, and you didn't have to think about it and could just go and not have to think about any kind of responsibilities. And that's when it's easy. It's definitely easy whenever you don't have to think about anything. But throwing kids into the mix, it'll test your marriage, that's for sure. People who think that you can have a kid and it fix your relationship, it definitely is not going to fix it. It's gonna challenge you, and it is gonna make you that you're gonna have some heated discussions. I'll just leave it at that. So, for us, the balance thing is we just figure it out. And with my hormones being all over the place, thankfully my husband has grace with my hormones and understands where I'm coming from.
He may have a nickname or whatever, but
he might. But yes, he doesn't fully understand how I can't control myself sometimes, but thankfully he gets it, and he knows that it's for a good reason, and we won't fully be this way all the time, but you just have to find what works for you. So
absolutely. And every person's going to be different. Every household's going to be different. I know our guys, they're out there making this movement to raise up more men in the world, and standing in that gap that is very obvious, just when you step outside the door. And I'm super proud of my husband for being a part of that. It's huge, but it's also, it kind of sets expectations, which I despise in a way, because we are in such a social media type world now that you see these expectations put out as, like Ashley said, your highlight reel, and nobody's perfect. So I always appreciate the people that are real about it. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean real with that cute little picture they put on all of their posts and this and that. Because I want to know, like, for real. Mm-hmm. Like Tanya mentioned, cleaning up piss all day. Mm-hmm. If you have a boy, you're doing that. Like, how many times are you,
they just want to pee
all over the
everywhere.
Back of the commode.
Like, I'm like, I can clean this on the shower curtain 1 second, and like a minute later, there'll be piss around that little. You know what I'm talking about? On the bottom of it?
Yes.
Of the toilet,
how does that happen?
I don't know, but it pisses me off.
I don't know, y'all. I'll be real. I'm kind of jealous. I just wish I could pee wherever and do whatever, But
yes, sorry,
Katie. No, y'all are good. We're just but we're in a place of expectations, and when it comes to that, and people want to know how you balance. And let me just tell you, balance is not in my vocabulary because I really suck at yoga. And I can't balance my own body.
Oh my gosh,
more than less my whole life. So and like Dina said, it just kind of depends. Some days I am a rock. I've always tried to be a rock star at work just because it's in customer service, and that was, you have a bad day, you really have a bad day. But
you leave it at the door and then you come home and I've been guilty of bringing that bad day home with me. And it took a step back and a self-aware type thing to realize that wasn't fair to my family. So, you know, I guess it all comes down to being aware. And some people just go day to day in their routine, and you're not. You don't realize what you're doing or how you're projecting or lack thereof with your home or your job or your friends or yourself. And I think when it comes to balance, it's not going to be the same for everybody because, like I said, your own personality is different. I encourage you to do a personality test because those are freaking fantastic. And it can, you know, that's the first step to being aware of your strengths and how you relate to things. But the households can be different. You know, you could have a father role that's more nurturing where the mom's not. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it could be just it could just be how they were raised and that's how they, you know, built their family together. And it's not that it's wrong, but you just have to, you know, you may not relate to them. So it's all going to be different depending on the household and the people. And we can't tell you the magic number or, you know, 10 hours on this side, 14 hours on this side. This is what you should be doing. I just think that if you're more aware and you're making those changes to find a balance that works for you and your family, or just if you don't have a family, if it's just you, find it. Figure out what works, what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, and go with it. And that's going to shift and be flexible. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's more about being flexible than finding balance.
Flexible for sure.
Yep,
and if you are struggling getting out of the bed in the morning, find something else.
Read the 5-second rule, please. If you're struggling getting out of bed,
just do something else. It's never too late to like start doing something you love and that wakes you up in the morning.
Absolutely. Tanya, so you work out. Are you balanced? Can you?
No, I'm not balanced at all. I was just going to say, I think that like once you become a mom, I think I mentioned earlier, I feel like balance is thrown off when you become a mom. Like there's no kind of balance at all. And like, I think
it's not a bad thing though.
Huh?
I said it's not a bad thing though.
No, not at all. And I think like Candy was saying, like balance is different from every person. Balance for me is making sure some days it may just be that I, you know, don't forget to pick up my 14-year-old from school. You know, I'm balanced because I picked him up. Or, you know, balance for me every day. Like I'm making sure that I make those intentional moments of when my husband walks in the door from working hard for supporting our family, making sure that I give him a kiss. Right. Like no matter if my kids are acting like little psychos all throughout the day, like making sure that my life is balanced with doing what I think is right for my husband or for myself or whatever it may be. Like balance sometimes is just making sure there's not Cheerios or Fruit Loops or whatever all over the floors when Daddy gets home, so he doesn't have to deal with it, or you know what I mean?
You mean your kids act like psychos?
No, my kids do not act like psychos. I have 3 boys that act like perfect angels all the time. They're so beautiful. No, our kids really are great, but you know, like I said,
everybody has their moments.
You know, when you have kids, they're just not balanced anymore. But like Candy said about the working thing, there was a time before I was married that I had to take a position down because I realized my whole entire being was focused on supporting my kid and nobody else supported my kid. And so I worked. And then I caught myself when I'm work, and I'm bringing that crap home to my, you know, 5-6-year-old. He doesn't deserve that, you know? And so I had to become an adult for a minute and realize, hey, money's not everything in this position. Like you can support him on $50,000 a year. You don't need 100.
Right.
And so before I got married, I realized like, your balance is not busting it at work. Like your balance is you can do good at work, but then you can do great at home with your kid and making sure that he is, you know, he's being fed what he needs to be fed, basically.
And there is nothing wrong with chicken nuggets. Oh, heck no. That's all my child eats. I just want to throw that chicken nugget.
Listen, when we pick up a Happy Meal, guess what my 4-year-old wants as soon as he gets that Happy Meal? He wants some apples. Okay, you're doing something right if he wants some apples first.
Hey, my child asks for steak and a salad when we go out to eat.
That will not change when he's 14. I promise you. He don't want that
still
kid
okay.
steak anymore. He wants that big boy steak.
Oh, he gets the big boy steak now. Oh my gosh,
God,
yes.
I would not, but
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Y'all
then
better
that's
bring
really
your
good
own
steak
money.
every
Where's
time.
that Christmas money? Y'all want some
Right?
steak?
Give me that Christmas
Right.
and birthday
Better get
money.
that Christmas
before
money
Joey.
out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Now he's picky as all get out, but when we go to a restaurant, I want steak and a salad.
I love
Okay.
I love it.
You better turn him on to some pasta or something.
He will not eat pasta. Oh my god. Kid don't even like macaroni, but will eat a steak and a salad.
so
But
funny.
anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I love it because it's look at my Owen will eat a steak with the 4-year-old. But I guess that's like working mom and single mom, whatever, you got to do what you got to do at that point. But balance as like a stay-at-home mom and trying to keep mentally stable. Like, is there what is there such thing? For me, balance as a stay-at-home mom means like making sure that I have quote unquote. Some people think that the word village is weird and some people don't. But for me personally, what I needed as a stay-at-home mom, I couldn't just be a stay-at-home mom and stay there and not talk to people throughout the day. For me, balance was making sure that I was making connections with other moms and making sure that I was building relationships with other moms in order to, for myself personally and mentally, I had to do that to make sure that I was okay. Like I couldn't just stay at home and be with my kids all day and forget how to talk to other people or to, say I had a bad day with my kids or just completely throw it all on my husband whenever he walked through the door. He doesn't deserve that, and neither did, I don't need to keep all that stuff. I need to be able to connect and create those connections with other moms. And so for me personally, balance was making sure that I was taking time out to
Put your oxygen mask on first.
say what?
Put your oxygen mask on.
I have, and for me too, like this is another thing. I have to get outside of the home
Me too.
in order to create balance. Like every day, I make a point to get outside the home, whether it's go to the park or whether I do go pick up my 14-year-old. But we get out of the house. I have to get out of the house as a stay-at-home mom. I need to get out at least once a day.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think all of us working moms really dream of that life, but I'll be honest, I'm on maternity leave and I don't go back to work until March, and it's a challenge. Like, I'm like you. My happy place is outdoors. It's with other people. It is not staying at home secluded with my baby. Like, then I will become sad and, obsessed with doing everything, right for this baby. And that, you can't get your head wrapped around stuff like that. You need people.
Yep.
And if you find yourself in your happy place being alone, take some alone time. But a good balance, I feel like, is, having those relationships and those connections. Like, women especially, like, we are social people. We need other women. If nothing else, go to the grocery store and, you never know, like, what's going to happen. I had the best conversation with this older lady that was working the kiosk at Kroger. Just a little bit. Like, you don't need a lot. Just connect with somebody else. Make somebody else, make their day, or let them make your day. Just get out and socialize with people. It's healthy. It really is.
Absolutely.
Can I add on that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So if you are an introvert like I am and you can't just talk to anybody, I feel like it's good to have that friend. Have at least one friend that's in your corner and is very positive. Because to me, I can't just go out and talk to anybody and have conversations with anybody. Because it's just, I feel like I'm very awkward and weird. So for the ones who feel like they can't just go out and have conversations with people and try to connect or whatever, just find that one person that you can talk to and speak your truth to, and they're not going to judge you for how you're feeling or, some of the stuff you may be struggling with your kids or your spouse or any kind of thing that you're just going through. You're like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know who to confide in or whatever. Just have that friend that you can confide in, and whoever, if it's a friend or like your mom or your sister or whoever, just somebody you can talk to.
Or even your spouse.
Yeah. Even if it's your spouse and you're irritated with them and you're like, you just get on my nerves right now. I don't want to talk to you, but I'm just going to vent to you. Somebody. Right. You need to have somebody to vent to, I feel like, just in general. Not that you're going to vent to a complete stranger, but have somebody you can talk to.
You might.
You might.
I had many customers, and that's all they needed.
Yeah.
Like they come in and, you know, they're going to get their meal, and you make that extra step if you're comfortable with it, ask them if they're having a good day,
Mhm.
and they will unload on you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like that. At first, I was very uncomfortable with people. And I've been in a front face customer service position for over a decade now, and I've grown in that, and I love it because those people leave and you have changed their entire day because they just had to get something off their chest.
Right.
And yes, you might be a stranger to them, or they might kind of know you, but they just needed an unbiased ear and just somebody to listen. And it could take 2 minutes. It could take 15 minutes. It could take an hour.
Mhm.
But just being that person for somebody, you could have changed their whole life that day.
Yep.
So it's, you know, don't shut down to being somebody else's person either.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what I was going to
Always
say.
be an
Be
open ear.
okay being somebody else's person.
That's one thing you hear with hairstylists.
Oh yeah.
I feel
absolutely.
like I worked in a salon
okay.
for almost 5 years, and some of the stuff that these women would tell you is unbelievable. Like, you would never think that you would get that, almost you would get that intimate with somebody that you don't really know that well, I guess. I mean, I guess you get to know them over time, but working there, I was like, I can't believe some of these women telling their, like, dirty secrets. Like, where are you?
They
What?
can't
hairdresser
carry it
is-
anymore,
Yes,
you know?
yes, your hair. It don't matter who it is. Just find you somebody.
It gets
you can-
heavy.
Go get
You
your
can
hair
get
done.
all that out on and just let them be your therapist. That doesn't cost you thousands of dollars if it is your stylist, whatever.
Girl,
You know,
I've had the same
they're to
hairdresser for
listen.
12 years. And when me and Cameron got married, he was like, why don't you go to somebody else that's closer to us? Because I drive an hour. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Yes.
My
yes.
hairdresser is my therapist. I don't even kid about that. She knows the
Amen.
good, the bad, the ugly,
Shout out
all
to
the
all
in
you
between.
ladies. Yes.
I ain't changing nobody.
Amen.
Thank
That's
you
why
for
I still
listening.
haven't found one after moving up here. I had mine down in Chattanooga, and
Yeah.
I'm like, whew, I can't find nobody else yet.
I will drive to Chattanooga to tell you
can
all my
tell us some
secrets.
stuff.
Yes, I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's like your indirect cry for help.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when like I said, when it gets so heavy, you just have to let it out. It's okay. Let it out. Like, whether it's to your hairdresser or the freaking salesman that comes in for your truck order every week. Like, it was a running joke about being your therapist, but you just need a person
Yep.
to let those frustrations out, not on them, but, you know, just to talk about and get a different perspective, and just know when you should not necessarily ask for help, but if it's okay if you do.
Yep. That was one of the questions
Yeah.
from a listener is, you know, how do you ask for help? When do you know that you need help? And, you know, should you ask for help? Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For anything. Like, there's nothing you're going through somebody else hasn't gone
Right.
through. It's not
Yeah.
new. You know, and that's a perspective of mine that has kind of been brought to light, you know, with having kids and being married. Like, nothing you're going through is new. Somebody somewhere has gone through it. Find somebody to talk to. You know, there are people out there. Like, there are resources out there. If you need marriage advice, if you need, you know, a friend to just listen, you know, to you, like, and don't be ashamed. None of us have the perfect marriage. None of us have perfect
Sorry.
kids. None of us
Perfect
have
marriage is funny.
Dina's
Right.
making eye contact with me right now.
No,
Because
I'm
she
not-
was
I'm
my
trying,
person a
I'm
couple
trying.
of weeks ago that, and it's hard if you've been a person that didn't want to ask for help, or you're stubborn. And my husband mentioned earlier, and he's not kidding. Like, there is a stubborn bull inside of me, and I have no problem admitting that now. But when you need to reach out, if you keep telling yourself, I need to do this, and you're not doing it, you're only hurting yourself. Like, reach out to somebody. And like a couple weeks ago, Dina was my person, and I felt guilty at first for bringing something to her and just kind of releasing it. But that's what they're there for. That's what your friends are for, and the people that care about you. You know, don't feel guilty, because if they're true, then they're happy that you brought that to them, and you're not carrying that by yourself anymore. So,
And it's almost a relief, to be honest. When someone brings something to you, you're like, thank God somebody else is having some issues.
Right.
Because this one over here having some issues too.
Like I put
it's
my
a
underwear
relief.
on backwards 2 days in a row. You know, you just it could be little things, it could be big things. Relationships or with your kids, or kids aren't perfect. If you have kids and you have a day where you're like, God bless America, why did I have a second child? It's okay. Like, you don't have to go to bed feeling guilty for thinking that thought, or even if you say it out loud.
I think
It's
that
just a
was
rough
just
day.
one sometimes.
Confession.
I'm the only one here with one kid, and sometimes I'm like, oh Lord, what in the world? But yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's just, we're not perfect beings at all.
No.
And you have animals out in the wild, they eat their young.
Yeah.
So be proud that you didn't do that day, okay?
Be confident you did not eat your kid today.
Yes.
So.
I do think it's very important for you to have that person, though, that you can vent to. You know, like I had a moment back before the holidays where I just couldn't take anymore, and I vented to my mom, and I was like, I probably should not be doing this because you're going to hate this person after I tell you this, but I had a moment, and I felt a moment of weakness, but you have to have that person that you can vent to, no matter who it is, whether it be your spouse or a best friend or your mom or your sister or whoever. You just have to have somebody, because if you bottle all that in, it's only going to come out on your spouse or your kids, and they don't deserve that. They deserve,
or a stranger.
They deserve to have the best of you. And not saying you have to be perfect all the time, but I mean, from my perspective, from struggling to have kids, I don't feel like you should put that burden on your kids. And knowing some stuff that I know from, other people's childhoods, you don't put that on your kids. You just find that person that you can vent to, and
just leave the kids alone.
Yes, don't make your kids grow into adults sooner than they need to be. They're only kids for so long, and they shouldn't have to deal with, struggles that you
Adult
you feel.
problems.
Yeah, they don't need to struggle with adult problems.
Yeah.
So go to your mama, go to your sister, whoever it is. Just talk to somebody and figure that crap out.
Another question was, how do you know when to say no? How do you know when it's time to take on something new or another thing in your life? Like, that kind of ties in with the balance thing. And there's a book out there, and it is called The Best Yes. And I was in a women's group not too long ago, and that was one of the, books that was suggested. Like, me, my best yes is not the same thing as everyone else's best yes. Like, it may be that season of life, it may be that day, but, I found that the women in that group, they were okay if I missed, because my best yes sometimes was at home with my kids. It wasn't at that group that day. And it was a once a week kind of class. It was a Bible study class. And as much as, I wanted to be there and I needed to hear what was, being discussed that day, and I needed to dive into scripture that day, my kids needed me that day. And that day, my kids were my best yes. So just pick your best yes, and don't be afraid to say no, because, if you're saying yes to everything, you're saying no to something, and it might be something more important. So
I feel like you stress yourself out if you say yes to everything too often.
Absolutely. Anxiety is real, and you are giving yourself anxiety if you can't tell people no.
Yep, I agree with that.
being
Saying
aware of your
no has been a
personality.
struggle to me because I don't like to disappoint people, but when you put your family and your kids, well, not just them first, you do have to put yourself first. If you don't self-care, you can't care for other people, but saying no is hard. I still don't like to say no, but there are times to where it's like you just have to. I think you just know whenever it's time for you to say, I can't do that, or I can't be here, or I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not going to be able to show up to this event or that or whatever.
Right.
You just kind of know when you're feeling too overwhelmed. I feel like you just are like, okay, it's time for me to take care of myself and take care of my family before I say yes to you and whatever else it is out there that people are wanting you to do or whatever.
Yeah, like little Sarah's 3rd birthday will be okay.
She's
Send
not
her
going to
a gift
remember.
later. She will not hold it against you.
No, she's not going to remember that you didn't show up to that birthday party. So that's all I have.
I think as women, we always strive to
Be at everything.
Yeah. Attend all the social functions. That's definitely on the wife and mom checklist. Like, attend everything. All the birthday parties, baby showers, weddings. Like, Lord Jesus.
Sometimes I do feel terrible because I'm really easily to say, like, I'm quick to say no to things, you know? But I think that comes with what you were saying. Like, if I know that, like, going to something like a birthday party or a wedding function or whatever it may be, there's some people there, friends, family, whatever it may be, that are negative to be around. I know if I'm around them for 5 seconds, then that's not good for me to take home to my family because I don't need myself around a bunch of negative people who are trying to bring me down or trying to bring whatever, my mood, my vibe, and then me bring it back to somebody else. So I feel like I'm quicker to say no, not yes to everything.
See, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
But you're aware of how it makes you
No,
feel.
I have to because I can,
you know,
with the whole health thing, like I can quick to realize, I need help with this. I need help with that. And so if saying no to somebody else that may hurt their feelings for a second, but help my well-being
Sanity.
as a person and my family, you know, then I'm quick to say no to somebody, you know.
And we
And
all
that's
know
okay.
We have those groups and those people, and it even might be, you know, cousin, sister, daddy, mama. Like, it may just
Everybody's
hurt
got
all
that
the
person.
That's a whole nother.
Everybody's
session
got
in
that
itself.
family that brings you down and brings negative to your inner peace or whatever you want to call it. So
And
yes, I have learned to say no to a lot of stuff, and if it's going to put my mental stability and my child's betterment at odds or whatever you want to call it, it's a definite no. Like if it's going to bring any kind of negativity to my kid or even my husband, it's a no. Yeah. Like if you're not going to bring any positive,
hard pass.
Yes, if you're not going to bring any positivity to my life, see you later, sister.
Yes.
I don't care who you are.
And I feel like more people need to realize that is okay.
Yes.
When
What
you're-
is it about turning 30? I know not all of y'all are 30 yet, but
Oh, hanging on by like
you
we
know,
didn't say
it's
we had to
red.
talk about age.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, you know. But it really
preserved.
is though. Like I'll go ahead and admit I don't care. I'm over 30 and I dreaded it when I turned 30 because I was like, it just seems so old, but it's really not. But it's something about whenever you get to a certain age, it's maybe not necessarily be 30, but you get to a certain age and you're like, I don't need to put up with this shit. Are you bringing bullshit to my life? You're being negative. I am not. You are not worth my time. If you're an immature person and you can't deal with your own shit yourself, quit bringing it to me because, you know.
can be like Lizzo and cut a
Yes, man.
off. So don't get
Like, it's
comfortable.
okay.
What'd you
like-
say? I'll bleep it out.
I feel like it's okay to have that person you can vent to, but when all that is, you're bringing negative, but then on top of that, being disrespectful to somebody, go on somewhere. We don't need that crap in our life.
We've grown.
Yeah, man, we don't need that shit. Go somewhere else.
And if you're a person that says yes, or if you're a person that feels guilty for not being a part of something, if they are bringing negative, or if you feel emotionally exhausted when you leave from that person, step away.
Yes.
Take care of yourself enough to step away
Hallelujah.
and bring positive into your life. Even if it's your Facebook. And I just told my husband this other night on my Instagram. And it's not that I have a lot of negative, because I cut that out a long time ago. I knew it wasn't a good thing, and you have to protect your sense gates. But on my Instagram, I went through and I was like, okay, I want to follow and see positivity. So whether it's affirmations, whether it's entrepreneur positivity, whether it's a big one for me right now is Mel Robbins. Because I'm also realistic in it. I'm not like positivity. Oh, everything's rainbows and unicorns and sunshine. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I'm the only one here with a daughter. So there are a lot of rainbows and unicorns and sunshine, but she's also like, she knows a limit too. So you just, you find what resonates with you, and what you want to focus on, but weed that out, like on your social media accounts, because we're all guilty of looking at it. Fill it with positive. So whether it's a role model or someone you respect, or just, people that whether it's a celebrity or not. Like, I don't care if they make you feel good. If it brings good to you, fill it with that instead. You can hide other people. You don't even have to unfriend them and worry about hurting feelings.
Right.
You can just hide it. But fill those feeds with positive things, and that's going to change what you're looking at, and that's going to change what you're reading, and that's going to start a simple change with you. So
your input absolutely 100% dictates your output. So don't expect to be a happy, positive person if all you're reading and, digesting is negative and
Fake news.
But like, acknowledge that too. Like, you are an adult. Acknowledge the fact that, like, if you're going through social media, you're looking at all these pretty Instagram, like you were saying earlier about the whatever, what was the highlight reel stuff though?
Yeah.
Like, if you are that person who you're having a bad day, say whether you're at work or you're with your kids, and you're just going through that stuff, looking at all of the happy stuff and all of people's pretty lives, like, acknowledge the fact that if you're in a sappy mood or you're in a not so good place or a not so good mood or whatever it may be, like, acknowledge the fact that you are going through something, and you don't need to be on there to try to find your happiness. Like, you need to find your happiness through something else besides your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Like,
go work out.
Do what?
I said go work out. It
Go
releases
work
endorphins.
out, eat some fruit, like, take, whatever.
Have sex.
I don't know.
Do something.
Exactly.
Or
like,
jalapeno Cheetos. Those always
like, don't
make
just
me
sit and be
happy.
like,
Cheetos
oh, my
and
life
Doritos
is
are
so
always
miserable,
good.
and I'm looking at all of you pretty people, and your lives are so perfect. That's just not real, because then what's that going to cause? As a mom, it's going to cause guilt if you're looking at all these other moms going to all these other places, and they're buying these kids this thing and that thing, and that's the last thing you need is mommy guilt, because mommy guilt
don't
is the
have
devil.
their shit together either.
Do
They
what?
don't.
They
Real.
don't either. Nobody
Oh,
does.
they don't.
Nobody does. That comes back to the balance
It's like
thing.
they
I don't
show
think
you
that
their highlight reel.
after you have kids is ever really balanced, So, anyways.
And kind of touching on the whole, who you're following. Another question was, how do you find a role model, a mentor? Where and how do you find one? And I just think that's a hard question, because it's not like they have their hand raised most of the time saying, hey, follow me. I'm a great mentor. But just my personal experience, I don't think a great mentor encompasses all of, the qualities you're looking for, but I think there's different mentors for different areas of your life, and you have to be, looking for those people that are further along, whether that be spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever you're looking for. Seek out those people, but put yourself in a position where you're going to find those people in daily life, and, even on a social media platform, even on, maybe not necessarily physically in life, but you can, watch a YouTube video from, a person that's been there, done that, and can give you experience. But I know personally, if I wouldn't have stepped into a service role at my church, I would have never found one of my, mentors. And she's awesome. She's, further along spiritually than I am, and I really look up to her. She balances life, a lot better than I do, and she just, she's positive and happy, and she just seems like, one of those people you want to be around. They create that pull for you. But if I wouldn't have made myself uncomfortable and stepped into a service role at church, I would have never found her. So sometimes, it's not, hey, I've got my hand raised, follow me. You got to seek those people out. And I know, I look at my husband for a mentor as far as just being emotionally stable. Like, the dude just doesn't have bad days. He just won't accept a bad day. He's got a smile on his face. He is killing it, like, in his job, in his marriage, and being a dad. Like, he's freaking awesome. And I'm so thankful I don't have to look any further than my husband for certain, mentorship kind of stuff. But, be open to those people that you pass every day, and put yourself in those uncomfortable positions to meet them, because they're there. And I do think it is 100% important to get around people who stretch you, and, you can strive to be like. And it may just be because they are spiritually ahead or mentally ahead or further ahead in their career. It doesn't have to mean they're all encompassing. Does that make sense to y'all?
Absolutely. That definitely makes sense to me, because as you were talking about that, I'm like, I don't have just one person I can go to on a mentor per se. If you look at it on like a marriage stance, of course I have my parents that I could look to, or my grandparents, because they were all married. Like my parents are going on 40 years of being married. So if I have any kind of marital advice, I'm like, well, let me come to you and ask you, what did y'all go through? Did y'all ever deal with this or whatever? And, you know, my grandparents were married for 70 years until they passed away. So, I mean, I can't go to them now because that would just be weird. But, you know, you have that stance, and then you have other aspects on, I mean, I have my sister I could talk to, or two sisters, but you have different people for different areas of your life. Like when it comes to the fertility aspect, I have a really good friend of mine who dealt with the same stuff I dealt with, and I'm like, how did you deal with this? How did you deal with the emotions, the hormones, all that? Because it was so long ago that I had to deal with all that I'm like, what did you do? Like, how did you deal with that? How did you try to hone that in and not be so emotional, and different things like that? And then the spiritual thing, I don't really have anybody mentor wise on that. I'm sure I could find somebody if I seeked it out, but it's like you said, you have to actually seek those people out on what you need mentorship for, because they're not just going to raise their hand and say, I can help you in anything. You have to find those people who are going to be positive for you and can help you in whatever season or whatever arena you're looking for.
And I've honestly I follow an entrepreneur, you know, in Murfreesboro. She runs her own business, and she's my motivation, like for, you know, at a distance. Like I don't see her every day. I don't talk to her. She doesn't personally mentor me, but I have taken mentorship from her through social media because she inspires me. She's a freaking boss. She goes after it. She's on there every day talking about her business, and I know she's, you know, growing and stuff. I can tell daily. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that you talk to every day. Yeah.
Well, let me just go ahead and say too, if you want to talk about a fitness mentor, let me just go ahead and say you and Josh, y'all are my fitness mentors, because this woman over here being 7-8 weeks postpartum, we went to a CrossFit class on Tuesday, and we only had to do, 6 rounds or whatever it was. Well, the lady was like, with y'all being newer to this aspect, y'all only do 3. And then Dina's over here kicking ass and like, I'm just going to keep going no matter what. And I'm like, damn, man, I got to keep going. Like, she done had a baby, and I've not had one in years. I got to keep busting my ass. So
it's all because Josh would have beat me if we come home. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Cut that out, Chris.
I shouldn't but it really is like, you just seek who you need. And like when it comes to fitness and, you know, somebody who pushes you, like she pushed me because I'm like, she done had a baby not long ago. Like I gotta keep my ass going because I have to. Like I don't have any excuse.
That's great. I'm glad I could be that person.
Yeah, man. Day, like I was gonna stop after like 4, and then she kept going, and I'm like, damn it, man, I gotta keep going. I got to, because I don't have an excuse. You know, like I haven't. I mean, my kid's almost 5. Like I have no excuse to not keep going in the fitness aspect, and I want to be better for my kid. I don't want to be that mom that's, you know, just sitting around, oh, I can't do anything because I just don't feel like it. No. If anybody's inspired me on fitness aspect, it's been my child, because I'm like, I don't want to be that mom that just sits around and does nothing.
Right.
I want to be that mom that can get out there and run around with you and not get out of breath or whatever. I mean, I know everybody's in different arenas, but you know, you gotta, if anything, do it for your kids.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, so
That's
yes,
great.
physical or whatever mentor for me would be Dina.
Well,
That's funny because Tanya, before we were friends, I looked at her as a mentor. Because
Oh God.
surprise.
she said before we were friends, but now that
No,
we're
well,
friends,
now
I'm like,
Well, like Dina mentioned, you know, and
now I don't look up to you because
No,
now you're crazy bitch.
definitely
Like,
no,
Whatever.
not that.
I agree with Candy
God
on that
forbid.
though.
Yeah.
Like it you know, different seasons of your life, things change. So like Dina said, you know, you find that person, and starting out, Tanya was like I mean, she still is like a straight up go getter. You know, when I met her, it was in an entrepreneurial realm, and I'm like, holy shit.
She stretched herself like
yes.
nobody's.
Yeah,
business.
she carries herself. She enters a room, and everyone, it's not like that presence like you're uncomfortable to talk to her. It's like that presence like everyone wants to be around her.
Yep.
And
Electric.
it
Electric
just,
environment.
you know, I'm sure you're super uncomfortable right now because your face says so. But it's like I'm looking at her, and she's, you know, it's kind of like looking at people's highlight reel, and you're like, she has it together, but she's real about it.
Yeah.
Like she had no problem letting you know anything, and she still doesn't. And it's just, you know, you find those people. And I read something one day, and it just resonated with me. But be the person you needed when you were younger, or seek out the
Did you post
person.
that?
I have
I've
before.
said that about 10 times this week.
Yeah. And it's just that resonated with me at that point because I didn't have those people. And that doesn't matter to anybody else what I didn't have. I just knew I wanted to be a person, and starting out, Tanya was that person for me. And not that she's not now, because she gets out and kicks ass, especially with her boys, and makes it look absolutely effortless. And not in a way of it being beautiful, but in a way of she rolls with it and makes it happen. And I just, you know,
She definitely
was that
shares
person
the
for
good
me.
and the bad, but you
Yeah.
know, like she has got it. Like
yeah, she figures
She
it out.
figures it
Yes.
out. Yep.
Absolutely figures it out.
Yep.
And you just have to find those people at different stages. And all four of us sitting here, I can relate something to each of these ladies because it depends on what you're looking for as to what you're going to find. And those people are kind of like, they're going to show up in your life and they're going to glow. As weird as that sounds, but you're going to focus on all of those things that you want with that person. It's like, you know, when you're out in a car and you're like, okay, I want an Altima. That's all you're going to see is an Altima.
Yes.
Right? So it's
Yes.
kind of like programming your brain.
Yes.
But
That
it's
is so true.
But yeah,
So
so figure out what you feel like you're lacking in, and go look for it. And like Dina mentioned, it's going to be a different person for different things, and that's okay.
Yep.
But ask questions. And those people that are genuine are going to let you know. And there's nothing wrong with that, because honestly, a lot of them, if they're good, genuine people, they're going to want to help you so that you don't have to go through the suck like they did.
right.
Because you're going to have to go through a lot of shit on your own.
Yeah.
And you can relate that to somebody else and help them so that they don't have to go through it. So just be open-minded about that, but don't be so self-absorbed that you don't want to help other people. Just keep it full circle, I guess you could say. But go out there and look for what you want. You know, you don't have to tell anybody.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
Like you don't
some
have to
people
say a
can mentor
word.
you, and
But
you
when
don't
you're
know.
thinking about
Yeah.
it, you're going to see it.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I don't have a ton to add there, but like you said, if you're looking for a quote unquote mentor, like what are you wanting to get mentorship from? Like, is it your career? Like what, you know, like are you trying to grow your career at this job or whatever it may be? Are you trying to get mentorship in parenting? Are you trying to get mentorship in fitness? Are you trying to get mentorship in your, you know, spiritual life? Like find out what you're trying to get mentorship for. Don't just say, hey, I wake up one day and I want mentorship. Like you need to specifically find out what you need mentorship for,
Be
what
deliberate.
you want. Yeah, be very deliberate, be very intentional. You know, like before marriage, you know, I was intentional and needed mentorship on like how to grow this title lending company because that's what I was doing at the time. Then, you know, currently my goal because I do like this Fit for Mom thing back in Chattanooga. My mentor is the owner of our Chattanooga franchise because she is very much focused on, you know, connecting other moms and making sure that moms, you know, if they go through postpartum depression, that kind of stuff, making sure that she's connecting a village of moms. It's not even necessarily about the fitness part. It's about encouraging moms and making sure that they have a community, somebody that they can count on. And so my role right now, as far as mentorship goes, is the person that I'm seeking is the owner of that franchise, because for me, where I am in life currently for mentorship is I want to be able to help encourage other moms who are going through stuff, who may not have that community, who may not have that family, who may not have that one friend. That I just think it's really important right now for moms to believe in other moms
Yep.
Because we can tell ourselves some dirty lies. We can tell ourselves some nasty stuff. We can get in our heads and, you know, with the guilt or whatever it may be, you know, or not having our lives all, you know, balanced, or not having, you know, whatever it may be. So I just think that you need to figure out what you want mentored, though. Like, what do you want mentored, you know?
I think all of us just mentioned certain things, though, that we have kind of joined and become a part of. Like, it wasn't comfortable for Ashley and I to join this CrossFit gym, and it wasn't comfortable
Definitely not
for, you know, Tanya to join this Fit Moms group and, you know, have to put herself out there. Please be okay with being uncomfortable.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
And if it feels uncomfortable, just freaking go for it, and it's going to work out, and you're going to feel awesome, and it's going to be great. So just please, whatever you do, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and
Exactly.
you know, do it. Like, it's going to be
gonna
great.
stretch you to be a better you. Like with the whole fitness thing, I was so anti-gym for the longest time, and it wasn't. It was just, I think I've narrowed it down to, I think I know what caused it, but I'm not going to join a gym. I'm not going to do that. I can self-motivate myself, which I have been. I've been disciplined enough to be able to keep myself motivated and to try and make myself better for my son, but to be physically active. But when it was just it was a different aspect on going to this CrossFit thing, and it did stretch me. I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing here, but I guess I'm going to figure it out.
Absolutely.
And I come to enjoy it. And the instructor there, she is so encouraging and so willing to work with people that it's almost like a radiating, I don't even know how to explain it, but
It's
then
a community.
it is. It's a community. And, you know, me and Chris and Josh and Dina all go together, and it is nice to have friends, you know, there. But if there's days that it's not going to be all 4 of us, I still have my husband that encourages me, and you know, I like to say I whoop him in that aspect. But
and you also see other ladies who look
they look like what you want to be,
and I mean, they look good. Like, when I say beast, I mean they look
they
like
are
what you want to look like.
Yes, they
They're
look
lifting
good.
some dude weights, and they are doing the damn thing. And like, you just
You're
wanna
like,
grow up
I'm
and be
gonna
like
look
them.
like you one day. I promise.
If I do this like 5 more times, can I look like you?
right?
You have to do 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
6.
at least
Okay,
6.
cool.
Yes.
So
But,
I think,
yeah.
y'all share whatever y'all have on your heart. I think that, you know, wrapping up, the big thing was, do they take me time was one of the questions. Like, do the shepherds of men, do the ladies, you know, how do they balance being a mom, raising kids, and do they take me time? I'm probably not the best one to ask about me time, because I don't really know what me time is. It might just look like going, you know, and getting your nails done. Because for me, I love to get a good pedicure, but I'm not the best one to say that I take a lot of me time. But I think that it is absolutely necessary and important. And, you know, separate yourself from being a mom and raising good kids. Like, you have got to take some time for yourself to get back to that, you know, Dina before 2 kids and a husband. Like, who, you know, I don't have to lose that person just because I'm a mom and a wife, and, you know, I go, you know, to a Bible study, and I go to the gym and go to work now. I can turn all those things off, and I can still just be me. And, you know, if you're not taking some me time, do yourself a favor, let mom watch the kids, and go get your nails done, or go to the gym by yourself, or go for a walk around the neighborhood. I mean, do something that, you know, kind of, I don't know a good word for it, just, you know, snaps you back to that person before all this life happened to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I started a jewelry business a couple months ago whenever my son went to a Mother's Day Out program, and
It's
before
fantastic.
that, it is.
Fennell & Co.
I was going to say, go ahead and do a plug.
Whatever.
Look at
Well,
Wrap
anyway.
that shit down.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so prior to doing that, I would get, you know, it felt like once in a blue moon of time to myself, and whether it be, like Dina said, getting your nails done. I'm not a big I wouldn't necessarily call that girly girl, but I'm not big into doing super girly things. And, you know, I did go and get my nails done every now and then, but to me, I mean, yes, that was time away, but I'm like, I feel like I could do something different. So if you're not into getting your nails done, which I highly recommend it because it is amazing, just spend time with somebody other than your kids. And if you don't have kids, just spend time with somebody that's not your spouse. I mean, you may need to be a person. You are a person outside of your spouse. If it's just you and your spouse, you are a family. But you need to have that time with just you and, you know, be who you were prior to being a wife, prior to being a full-time working person. And whatever it is, I mean, if it is going to get your nails done, go do it. I mean, it's a wonderful, relaxing time. And prior to, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, yes, I do take time to myself. And now that I have started this business, I still create and do stuff with my kid around. I mean, me and my business partner, we both have kids. She has 2 girls and I have a boy. And, you know, it is chaos because she has girls and I have a boy, and they're 2 totally different people. They're 2 totally different aspects of the whatever, toddler realm or whatever. So we still have to deal with being mom and business owner all at once, but you know, we have our times to where, you know, we can be ourselves, and I feel like creating is an outlet for me, and it's fun to be able to create new things. And you know, our kids call it adult Play-Doh because that's kind of what it is. I mean, you know, it is cool. It is what it is, and we get to create, and it's been a nice outlet for me. But I do feel like as a mom, you need to take that time to yourself and be you, like Dina said, prior to having kids. Like, you were a person before you had kids, and you need to take that time, because it's like if you've ever been on a plane ride, if you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot take care of the person beside you. And if you're not feeling yourself whenever you're with your family, you can't take care of them. So I feel like you definitely need that self-reflection or building or whatever you want to call it, even if it's just a date night with your spouse. If you're one of those people that need a date night with your husband, tell them. I'm sure they'll be totally open to it, because a lot of times I feel like guys are a one-track mind and they just go and don't think about that stuff. And if that's how you are, if quality time is your outlet, or it's something that you need to let your spouse know. And so your self-growing time, or whatever you want to call it, could be just a date night. Like, for me, I don't really feel like I need a whole lot of date nights. To me, a date night is just sitting on the couch together and watching a movie. Like, I don't have to go out, and I don't have to spend a lot of money. It just that quality time without having to be mom and dad, I feel like is a very good thing to do. And you know, it just
stop feeling guilty for wanting you time, or you and your husband time, because guess what? Your kids are a season of life. They're not full, you know, they're not going to be in your home consuming all your time for the next 50 years. But you did make a commitment to yourself and your husband. You know, you two will be together for life, and your kids are going to move out and they're not going to be here. So, you know, take care of you and your husband, and don't feel guilty about it.
Raise self-sustaining humans.
Don't feel guilty for asking for help from a family member. Yes. I do. I'm not one to, I shouldn't speak on that, because I do feel guilty for asking family members for help, but it's because I only have a few that I feel like, you know, are okay with helping. But I do still feel guilty, because I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't have that. But I do feel guilty. But you do need to take it.
For sure.
What's your confession?
No, I just had a confession. So last Friday night, me and Cameron, we, you know, when you have kids, they get sick, and sometimes they get sick. If you have multiple, one gets sick one week, and next week the next one, and then the next one's the next one. And sometimes you have to take that self-time, or you have to take that date night, because you need out of the house, away from the kids and away from things and stuff. And so we got a babysitter last Friday night, and I said, oh my God, can you just get a hotel and let's go take a nap? Like, can we just take a nap on our date night? Like, when you said that about watching the movies, like on the couch with your spouse, like, how do you do that when you have kids? Like, do you have to have a sitter,
you watch
and then you go get a hotel so that you can sit, take a nap? anyways.
You do what you have to
Contemplated
do.
that so many
Okay,
times.
you do.
Date night could be anything. It could be just sleeping. Go to sleep.
Just get the kids
Just
out
do
of the
something.
house, and you just have a date night with you and your pillow.
Heck, us going to that concert, what was it, a week or two ago? Whatever. I mean, that was so much fun.
That was a blast.
It was so
Candy,
much
we
fun.
missed you so
We
much. I
did.
wanted to make a poster with your face on it, so
Aw,
we felt like you were
aw.
there.
Yes.
okay.
But
Yeah,
just
we did
doing it doesn't have to be a concert, but just doing stuff like that, I feel like it's good for your mental health. Personally, I mean,
Yeah.
you
Find
need it.
something. And it's I think I break the mold with this, and people like I used to feel guilty about it because I enjoyed working.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Not because working, but the environment. And for a long time, I felt guilty. Like I felt guilty for not wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. And not that I don't love my children, but like Dina said, I am raising self-sustaining humans because I know that they're going to leave the nest. And my husband and I count down, and we joke about that. You know, we're going to be this age when they leave the nest, and that's great. We're still going to have so much life and so many things to do.
Yeah.
It's okay if you think that way. Don't let Crunchy Granola Becky make you feel bad about that because she has attachment issues. Okay. She, you know,
Helicopter mom.
yeah. And if you're a helicopter mom, that's fine too. But there are boundaries, and you know, our goal is to raise humans. And like I said, I'm the only one here with a girl, but we also have a son, and it's our goal for them to be productive people in society and good people and kind people. And if he needs to hold my hand until he's 16 to do that, that's not going to work, because when he's an adult, there's only so much you're going to be able to do. And same thing with our daughter. So raise self-sustaining humans. But for me, it's working, and that's my me time. And I am currently working on finding a hobby, because I hear those are great to have.
What is your hobby?
And
I hate
raising
that- I
nice
hate
adults,
that question.
respectful adults.
I have always hated that question. Like, the what about you? What do you like to do? I don't know.
Still working on it. Still just trying to
Yeah.
Hey,
figure it
I
out.
still am too.
Yeah, so still growing. And
I
that's
think
okay.
everybody's always still growing.
Yeah, and it's becoming into that realization, like, it's okay to not know what you like doing. Like,
Yeah, it is, and you'll figure
I like
it out,
sleeping.
like one day.
Yes.
and I really like eating.
Yes.
I love
Um,
eating. That's my
Love
favorite
eating.
hobby.
I like a drink every now and then. But it's, yeah, for me, it's working. That's my me time. But I'm in an environment I enjoy. If you get up and you hate what you do every day, that's not going to be your me time. So just find something that works for you, that you can get away and separate and not worry about everything while you're there. Even if you have to get in the car for 10 minutes and drive
There you
around,
go. That's-
listening
Yes.
to
right there.
90s rap music.
I was just about to say,
Yes.
right now my playlist is like the Eminem Show playlist on Pandora, and I know
For real,
every
though.
freaking word to that album, and I
Mhm.
don't feel guilty about it. But my kids aren't in the car when I drop my son off in the morning, so that's what I can listen to,
Confession.
you know. And
Yes.
I've shared that on my social media stories too, because it's funny that everything changes when you have kids, or when you're in friendships or relationships that are almost suffocating. They make you want to be something you're not. Please get in the car with me one time, because I will blow your absolute mind.
So
but
fun.
but I think you should. I think you should. You should have something
I
that
think we
makes you
should
feel
go after
good.
this podcast.
Whether it's music or
Don't threaten me with a good
or
time.
books or an activity or a hobby or a job or whatever it is, you can't lose you. And if you
Yes.
didn't know you before, that's okay. Find
Figure
you.
it
Go
out.
find
Yep.
you.
Figure out what you want to do.
You can be a person after kids.
Yeah, and life is short, so just
Raise grown folks instead of trying to raise kids. Okay, that's all I got
And
to
don't
say.
lose
Raise
yourself in the process.
respectful
We're raising
kids.
adults. Your kids are going to be kids for about 16 years. So raise some adults and stop raising kids.
Yes.
But yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I hope we answered all of, the questions that we could. I hope it all makes sense and it didn't confuse anybody. And,
And
we
if
just,
it did, just let us know and we'll come back.
yes,
And
we
know
love
that
your
we don't
feedback.
have our shit together.
No.
We just
Heck
figure the
no.
If they
shit
tell you
out.
They do. They're lying. Don't believe
Don't
it.
believe 'em.
Amen. Don't believe the
Pray
social
for 'em,
media
but don't believe
mentality
'em.
And
of
I'm just the only thing I'm gonna
Yes.
say with the self stuff is like the fourth commandment, thou shalt not neglect thyself. And so
Yes.
I do think that taking time for yourself, no matter what it is, whether it's 10 seconds outside trying to find a
Or
four-leaf
just
clover,
go
I
into
think
the
you should take 10
bathroom.
seconds to yourself if you realize that you need that 10 seconds. So, yeah,
And find
Yes.
friends that you can be comfortable around in
Yeah.
your robe.
for sure.
Yes.
And stay in your lane, guys. Stop hating. Don't leave Shakira and J-Lo alone, okay?
The end.
Bye.
Bye.